China, you cannot take a taxi with money. You cannot buy an ice cream with Chinese money because nobody has any money. It's all on their phone. You have to have computer money already, and it's getting more and more that way. We have a gigantic collapse in 3 months or a few months. Yes, of course, people may grab for gold or silver in desperation. I doubt it. The problem with the gold standard or the silver, it works, and politicians don't like it. Something will replace the US dollar. Something has always, something replaced the pound sterling, something replaced the French franc, something replaced the Spanish peseto, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think I'm doing everything I'm doing. I'm not doing anything that's a problem, but whatever I'm doing, as I said, they'll call you up and say you're drinking too much coffee. What business is it of theirs what I'm doing? They love to know what everybody's doing. Most of us don't particularly want other people snooping into whatever we're doing, even if we're doing simple things like reading magazines. Who cares? It's none of their business. You know, in China, you cannot take a taxi with money. You cannot buy an ice cream with Chinese money because nobody has any money. It's all on their phone. You have to have computer money already, and it's getting more and more that way. Every country in the world is working on computer money, including the US, and eventually, yes, all our money is going to be on the computer. Governments love that. They don't have to print it. They don't have to transport it. They don't have to, protect it. And they love it. More important, Patrick, they can then know everything you do. They'll call you one day and say you're drinking too much coffee this month. Cut down on the coffee. They love the control it will give them. I don't like it. I mean, I hope most of us don't like it, but unfortunately, that's the way things are going, and we will all have computer money eventually. I doubt it unless something happens very quickly and very suddenly. I don't think U.S. dollar is going to blow up today or this year even. It's going in that direction. It could if we have a gigantic collapse in 3 months or a few months. Yes, of course, people may grab for gold or silver in desperation. I doubt it. The problem with the gold standard or the silver, it works, and politicians don't like it. It requires discipline and and knowledge. But politicians don't want discipline. They don't want somebody making them not spend too much money. The gold standard has certainly been good at times. It's had its own failures. It's never lasted because politicians have always found a way to cheat and to trick people with the gold standard and the silver standard. But I don't think it'll come back unless, as I say, we're very desperate quickly. Eventually, I expect gold and silver to go back to new highs. Throughout history, when there's staggering amounts of money printing and debasing of money, government money, people have always fled to gold and silver, and I'm sure they will again in 2025, 2030, whenever the next disaster takes place. Something will replace the US dollar. Something has always something replaced the pound sterling, something replaced the French franc, something replaced the Spanish peseto, et cetera, et cetera. The something, the world will find something. It's better if the world finds it rather than if some government tries to dictate it. The only possibility I see at the moment is the Chinese renminbi, but as I said, that's not practical now either. I don't see a replacement at the moment. If there's a crisis soon, the world will be forced to do something. So it might try gold and silver. Many times in history, people have used gold and silver more than gold throughout history. I've got my silver, I've got my gold. All of us peasants know that when something goes wrong, we want some silver over there in the closet, we want some gold under the bed. Politicians and bureaucrats say, forget it. Well, they can say that all they want, but us peasants, we've been around a long time, hundreds of thousands of years, and we know we better have some gold or some silver when things go wrong. I have never bought nor sold a cryptocurrency. There have been hundreds, and many of them have disappeared, as you know, and gone to zero. We don't read too much about them, but there are a few thousand of them now, apparently. I mean, sure, people want to trade them. I don't see any reason not to, as trading vehicles, and some people have made a lot of money. I don't quite understand why, because if I trade cotton, I know that eventually I'm going to have a shirt. If I trade Microsoft, I know I've got a company behind those shares. If I trade cryptocurrency, I'm not sure what I have that other than a trading item. But if people want to trade, that's fine. My view is that if they do become currencies, and the crypto people all say, oh, we're going to be the new currency, we're going to replace government money. If that ever starts happening, I'm sure that the governments will then say no. They will outlaw it or ban it or tax it. They'll do something, because governments do not like to lose their control. They do not like to lose their power. Well, it's already happening. Copper has made all-time highs because everyone now expects electric vehicles. Well, electric vehicles use several times as much copper as a normal vehicle, because copper is used for electricity conduction. Silver, silver is very useful in electronics and in solar electricity. So silver will certainly have much more demand if we go that way, and it looks like we are. So some of the things that the world needs, or thinks we think we need solar energy, we think we need electric cars. If we're going to have them, it's going to increase the demand for some things, copper, lithium, silver, a few things like that. Bond yields have been going down for 40 years. And actually the 40 years before that, bond yields went up for 40 years. I don't think there's anything magic about 40 years, at least there never has been. But we've had a 40-year bull market in interest rates, in bonds. And so in my view, that's coming to an end. I see what the debt numbers are. I see that inflation is coming back. And that nearly has always led to bear markets in bonds, higher interest rates. And that's going to destroy a lot of companies and a lot of countries. No, I still own U.S. dollars because my view is that when the next turmoil comes, and we will have bear markets again, that people are going to look for a safe haven. There are not many safe havens left anymore. And so they're going to look for historic reasons. The U.S. dollar is not a safe haven. I can't imagine that if the U.S. ever said, okay, now this is money. This is the U.S. dollar, and if you want to spend money, this is how you do it. And I can't imagine the U.S. government would then say, but if you want to use something else, use something else. That's not the way governments think. That's not the way they work. I suspect that if they become real currencies, governments will take action. I don't think it'll come back unless, as I say, we're very desperate quickly. In China, you cannot take a taxi with money. You cannot buy an ice cream with Chinese money. We've been around a long time, hundreds of thousands of years, and we know we better have some gold or some silver when things go wrong. Governments do not like to lose their control. They do not like to lose their power.